The stars hung like distant diamonds in the black velvet of space. Humanity had spread across dozens of systems, building colonies, trade routes, and military outposts. Most alien civilizations respected humans, but very few truly feared them, at least not yet. On the bridge of the ISS Vanguard, Captain Elena Reyes looked at the holoscreen showing the Varkari marauders' movements. The Varkari were infamous mercenaries known for their cruelty and efficiency. Their ships burned through systems with little regard for life. And now, one of humanity's smaller allies, the Navara system, had sent a distress signal. Admiral Thorne wants conventional fleets to handle this, Lieutenant Arik Voss said, standing beside her. He was tall, lean, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. But the regulars can finish this before anyone else arrives. Elena smiled faintly. That's the point. They think they're sending humans to fight like everyone else. They don't know what they're dealing with, Arik chuckled. Regulars. Just a fancy name. Special forces, they call us officially. But the galaxy already fears us more than any special team. Elena tapped a console. Then let's give them a reason. The regulars were unlike any other human soldiers. They did not rely on overwhelming firepower. They did not wait for orders in long chains of command. They were trained to think, adapt, and act as one unit. Each mission was planned meticulously, yet the plan was never rigid. Improvisation was their strongest weapon. As the Vanguard approached the Navara system, Elena addressed her squad. This mission is not about glory. It's about efficiency. We strike, secure the civilians, and disappear before the enemy realizes what hit them. Her team nodded silently. Among them were specialists in reconnaissance, sabotage, and hand-to-hand combat. Each soldier could operate independently, or as part of a larger group. That flexibility made them dangerous. The Vanguard dropped out of hyperspace near Navara Prime, the system's main planet. The planet's cities glimmered under the light of twin suns, but many areas were already scarred by raider attacks. Smoke rose from smaller colonies. Satellite scans show marauders patrolling the northern sectors, Elena said. We'll deploy from orbit. Stealth pods will land us inside their perimeter. Arik, you take Alpha Team and secure the city center. I'll lead Beta Team to intercept the command post. Minimal casualties, maximum effect, and copy that, Arik replied. His voice was calm, but his eyes gleamed with anticipation. The regulars boarded their pods. The descent was silent, almost ghostly. They landed in abandoned industrial zones, shadows among shadows. No alarms went off. No shots were fired, they moved quickly. Elena's team bypassed security drones and avoided patrols with silent precision. The marauders had advanced sensors, but the regulars' tactics were unconventional. They used holographic decoys, delayed sensor triggers, and knowledge of human psychology to confuse their enemies. In the city center, Arik's Alpha Team reached the main square. Marauder squads were patrolling, but they were scattered and uncoordinated. Arik signaled his team. With synchronized movements, they incapacitated the guards, leaving no lasting harm. Civilians peeked from behind walls, eyes wide with awe. Meanwhile, Elena and Beta Team approached the Marauder command post. The building was fortified, but not impervious. Using silent breaching techniques, they entered through the maintenance ducts. Elena smiled as they reached the main control room. Marauder officers were reviewing tactical maps, confident in their superiority. A single flash grenade disabled their visual sensors. In seconds, the regulars neutralized the command personnel. No one fired large weapons. No alarms had yet sounded. Mission accomplished, Elena whispered. Now extraction. The marauders scrambled, realizing their command structure had collapsed. Confusion spread faster than fear. Patrols turned on each other. The regulars moved like phantoms, guiding civilians to safety while avoiding unnecessary combat. By the time the main fleet arrived from orbit, the city was secure. The marauders had lost their coordination, their pride, and their leverage. Humanity's special forces had already won. Elena watched the enemy ships retreat. The galaxy thinks they know us, she said. But they only know what we want them to see, Arik smirked. And what do they see? Ordinary humans, Elena replied. Just another squad. Nothing to fear. For now. Back on the Vanguard, Admiral Thorne received the report. His eyes narrowed. The regulars had completed the mission in record time, with 0 civilian casualties and minimal combat. It was almost unbelievable. Captain Reyes, he said over comms, how many of your team were actually involved in direct conflict? Direct? None worth mentioning, Elena replied lightly. The Marauders were defeated before they realized what hit them. That's how the regulars work, Admiral. Thorne rubbed his chin. He had commanded fleets in dozens of systems, faced alien armies that outnumbered humans 10-1, and yet these regulars had done what he could only have dreamed of. They will write legends about you, he said. Elena shook her head. Legends are for stories. We're for results. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, whispers began. Systems that once considered humans just another player in the political game started reconsidering their assumptions. Alien spies reported on this regulars squad that could defeat entire mercenary armies with minimal force. Fear spread quietly like a shadow over the stars. In the quiet of the Vanguard's observation deck, Elena looked at the stars. They think this was a one-time victory, she said to Arik. They don't know it's just the beginning. Do you think they'll ever truly understand us? Arik asked. Elena smiled. No, and that's exactly how it should be. If they think we're special forces, they'll never guess what the regulars really are. The twin suns of Navara Prime set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The regulars rested, preparing for the next call to action. For now, peace reigned. But the galaxy had already started to tremble at the name of humanity's regulars. The galaxy had started talking. Whispers of humans who could defeat entire armies without massive fleets or heavy weapons spread like wildfire. Alien governments grew uneasy, their pride wounded by the story of Navara Prime. Humanity's special forces were no longer just a curiosity. They were a threat. Yet, the regulars themselves hardly noticed the reputation growing around them. Captain Elena Reyes and her squad had returned to Earth's orbit for debriefing, but the message from Admiral Thorne came almost immediately. Captain? Thorne's voice was calm but urgent. We have intelligence of a coalition of alien fleets gathering near the Andros cluster. They plan to test humanity's defenses, likely underestimating us as usual. I want the regulars to lead an infiltration mission. Conventional forces will hold the line. Elena studied the holomap of the Andros cluster. Dozens of ships from multiple alien civilizations formed a loose blockade, ready to crush any human fleet that dared approach. Understood, she said. We'll get in, sabotage their command, and make them question their entire strategy before a single human ship even fires. Arik Voss leaned over her shoulder. They'll think we're just special forces. By the time they realize we're regulars, it'll be too late. The Vanguard carried the squad in stealth mode, hidden within asteroid fields on the edge of the cluster. Elena reviewed the plan with meticulous care. The regulars would split into 3 teams. Alpha Team, sabotage supply lines and disable communications. Beta Team, create diversionary attacks, drawing enemy attention away from the true objective. Gamma Team, strike at the coalition leaders, forcing confusion and distrust among their ranks. Every move had been considered, yet the regulars thrived on adaptability. Plans were guidelines, not rules. As they descended toward the heart of the cluster, the enemy sensors scanned for intruders. Stealth pods slipped past patrols hiding within asteroid shadows. The regulars moved like ghosts. Alpha Team landed near a fuel depot. Explosives were placed silently, designed to mimic an internal malfunction. By the time the enemy noticed, their supply lines were crippled, delaying reinforcements and creating panic. Beta Team staged a minor skirmish near the perimeter, firing carefully targeted shots to simulate a larger force. Enemy ships scrambled to respond, wasting time and energy. Civilians and neutral trade ships remained untouched. Chaos grew, but no unnecessary destruction occurred. Gamma Team, led by Elena herself, moved toward the command hub. The coalition leaders had not expected infiltration. Their security protocols were strong, but they had never encountered humans who could anticipate every possible scenario and react faster than any machine. Inside the command hub, Elena and her team disabled security grids with precise hacking. Doors opened only when necessary, and guards were incapacitated quietly. The coalition officers were confident, believing their numbers guaranteed victory. Confidence, Elena knew, was dangerous. A flash of light, a well-timed smoke grenade, and the regulars struck. Officers fell into disarray. Communications cut off, orders ignored, and distrust bloomed instantly. The alien commanders turned on each other, accusing mistakes and sabotage. Within moments, the coalition's leadership structure was in chaos. Outside, Alpha and Beta teams had already spread misinformation. Sensors showed phantom fleets attacking multiple locations. Enemy captains could not tell what was real. By the time they tried to regroup, the regulars had already moved through the cluster, leaving confusion in their wake. Arik Voss communicated through secure channels. "Captain, the coalition thinks they're fighting a full-scale human assault. They're sending ships in every direction." "It's working perfectly," Elena nodded. "Keep them busy. Gamma team will finish the job." The regulars reached the central command tower of the coalition fleet. Elena paused, looking at the bridge from the observation deck. Hundreds of enemy eyes, unaware of the humans among them, scanned monitors and maps. With precise coordination, the regulars disabled main reactors, communications, and navigation controls. Panic erupted among the alien officers. Ships collided, fired on each other by mistake, and retreated in disorder. Elena addressed her team over secure comms. "Now we leave a message. They need to know who they faced." Using the coalition's communications array, the regulars broadcast a simple signal across all enemy frequencies. "You thought humanity was just special forces. Meet the regulars." The transmission repeated in multiple languages, piercing through the chaos. Alien captains froze, fear and disbelief mingling in their eyes. By the time the coalition fleets realized the truth, the regulars were gone. No casualties among civilians, no human ships in the field. Yet the psychological impact was devastating. Alien fleets withdrew, not because they were defeated by firepower, but because their command structure, coordination, and confidence had collapsed. Back on Earth, Admiral Thorne received the report with a mixture of awe and relief. "Captain Reyes," he said, "you've done what no fleet could do." "The galaxy will remember this," Elena replied simply. "We didn't do it for recognition. We did it to protect humanity and our allies." That's enough. Across the stars, the effect of the regulars' mission rippled. Planets and systems that once doubted human strength reconsidered their assumptions. Trade routes were no longer threatened, and rival powers started to tread carefully. Humanity was no longer underestimated. In a quiet debriefing room aboard the Vanguard, Elena looked at her team. Arik grinned. "Think they'll ever guess what the regulars really are?" Elena shook her head. "No, and that's the way it should stay. Fear is a tool, but only when it's deserved." She thought of Navara Prime, of the Andros cluster, of the countless missions still ahead. Humanity had barely scratched the surface of its potential. And yet, the regulars had shown one undeniable truth. When humans fought with intelligence, courage, and unity, no force in the galaxy could predict what would happen next. "Ready for the next call?" Arik asked, leaning back in his chair. Elena smiled faintly, her eyes fixed on the stars beyond. "Always. The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but it will. And somewhere, in council chambers across distant systems, alien leaders whispered to one another. They would need to rethink everything. Humanity was not just strong. Humanity was unpredictable, relentless, and far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The regulars had proven it. The galaxy had begun to fear humans, not as soldiers, not as special forces, but as a species that could never be controlled, never fully understood, and never underestimated.